All right, we are back. We're now going to be looking at factoring. And what is the idea of factoring? Okay, just to let you know, factoring is one of the methods that we will study on how to solve quadratic equations. Now, technically, this should be a little bit of a review, so it shouldn't be too hard to find the roots or anything like that. Okay, so the first thing I need y'all to do is make sure, pause me right now if you have to, but go ahead and copy this chart down. This chart is going to be the most important thing, if you didn't copy it in class when I went over this earlier. Okay, so this one might get a little long, but I'm going to try to make sure I cover both the factoring by itself and the solving by factoring. Or I might just split this up into two different videos. I'm not exactly sure yet. I guess I'll make up my mind. Anyways, I'm going to try to do some different examples than what I did in class. So here we got x squared minus 6x minus 16. Now, based on this, okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put x and x, okay? Because x times x gives me the x squared. Okay, then the next thing I wanted to look at is minus minus means that according to this chart, minus minus I need to put minus plus. So I'm going to have minus plus right here. Then I can draw my little figure. Negative 16 will go right here. Minus 6, minus, and plus. And this makes it also easier because I'm always going to say the bigger number needs to go on the left. Okay, so numbers that multiply to give me 16. 1 and 16. 2 goes into 16 8 times. And then 4, 4, and 4. And that's all of them. Boy, I'm having trouble writing that 4. Okay, so with the signs, since the signs here in the middle are different, then that means that these two need to be subtracting. So when I subtract, it should be 8 minus 2 gives me 6, 4 minus 4 gives me 0, 16 minus 1 gives me 15. And I'm just saying the bigger number minus the smaller number. So we can see here it's got to be 8 and 2, and the bigger number should always be on the left, like that. So the signs are already set up for you, so that means here and here. And that's it, you're done. Okay, do another example. Okay, here I have x squared plus 9x minus 36. Again, I'm going to put these parentheses. X, plus minus is a plus minus according to the chart. So then I could go here, negative 36, positive 9, plus minus, like that. So following this, what's in the middle there follows the parentheses. Okay, so numbers that multiply to give me 36. So 36 divided by 1 is 36. 36 divided by 2 is 18. 36 divided by 3 is 12. 36 divided by 4 is 9. 36 divided by 6 is 6. 5 does not work. Okay? So these are all my factors. Which of these subtracts to give me a 9? Well, 3 and 12 gives me the 9. And the bigger number goes on the left, smaller number goes on the right, and you'll already have the correct order for your numbers. And that's pretty much it for the factoring part of it. Now, what happens when you have a number in front of that? Let's figure out, or in front of the x squared. Let's see what happens. Okay, so here I have 5x squared plus 17x minus 40. Now, since this is just factoring, there could be a little bit of difference here what you need to do. But also keep in mind that this number right here, the 5, is a prime number. And so there's a little bit difference between what happens when we have a prime number and a composite number. So the first off, what we have to start off with is that we're going to write 5x into both of them. So that means for a while you're going to carry an extra 5. But that also means at the same time that you're going to be able to have a different, it'll help you not have a lot of extra guessing and checking. Okay? Plus minus, according to the thing, is plus minus. So I'm going to put here, and then the 17 will go here, plus minus. But to get this top number, you have to say 5 times 40, or negative 40, to get negative 200. So now you're looking at factors of negative 200 that would subtract to give you 17. So 1 and 200, 2 and 100, 3 doesn't work, 4 goes into it 50 times, 5 goes into it 40 times, 6 doesn't work, 7 doesn't work, 8 goes into it, I don't know, let's see, how many times does 8 go into it? 8 goes into it 25 times, and if you start subtracting, remember these are subtracting, you get 17 right here. So you don't really need to keep going. I mean, the next one after that would have been 10 and 20, and then who knows what else. But once you find the one that you're working with, as you go in a nice logical order, then you can kind of stop there. Now, according to this, we go again, bigger number goes to the left, smaller number goes to the right. And then you can see here that the extra 5, when you have a prime number, only one of these parentheses is divisible, and it's divisible by that number that's in front of the x. So which parentheses is divisible by 5? This first one. So that one would give me x plus 5. 5x minus 8, and there's my answer. So when it's a prime number, and what are prime numbers again? Numbers that are only divisible by themselves and 1. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, those are prime numbers. Now, would I go as high as 11? Probably not. But keep that in mind. So what happens when it's not a prime number? Let's look at that. Okay, so here is an example of number in front of the x squared that's not prime. Okay, so you're going to start off the same, 10x, and if y'all can hear people in the background, that's just because I'm here during a swim practice and people are yelling, because that's what coaches do. All right, again, take the number in front here and the number in the back. The 17 will go on the bottom. 30 goes here. 10 times 3 is 30. And again, I've got plus plus. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give me 30, but add up to 17. And right there, I get 2 and 15. That's 17. I don't need to look for the others. So I'm going to put 15 here, 2 here. So we stay in that habit of bigger number on the left, smaller number on the right. Now, if you look at this, neither one of these two has a number that can divide into that can divide. Got divided completely by 10. Wave it, got tangled up there. So then we look at for something else. Is there a number that can divide into both 10 and 15? And that's 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Over here, is there a number that can divide into both of these? And that's 2. Notice that 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So you can double check yourself. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 1 is 3. And that gives you those end numbers. So there you go. So this right here would represent your answer. Okay, so with composite numbers, you might have to divide both parentheses by something. Okay, obviously a number that's less than that. So just kind of keep that in mind. Alright, so let's move on to solving. Actually, I will go ahead and do solving as a separate video. So this will be all for today, or for this one, which was factoring quadratics, and I'll continue with solving in a minute. Thank you very much.